Welcome to day 8 of FITMAS. Are these a little too obnoxious? I don't know. I think they're good. But me and Gingy, I specifically got Gingy to talk about the nutrition stuff because he's a delicious cookie. Me and Gingy are going to talk about why your macros really suck and kind of why your progress is lacking. We're going to talk about the real reason behind that. Okay, so day 8 of FITMAS, and there's a wonderful offer to pair with this if you're struggling with macros yourself. So stay tuned. I wanted to have a nicer, more festive Christmas background. So I got these pretty lights as well as some snowflake ones from the Dollar Tree. So they take AA's, and well, I had to find the perfect screwdriver to unscrew this, and I just found out we do not have AA batteries. So I'm sorry. For this video, I'm filming a little out of order. So you may have seen these in earlier videos. But for the time being, again, that messy action, we will not have these lights. I apologize. I'm asking the hubby to get some more AA batteries. Okay. So, okay. Me and Gingy want to talk to you about your macros. So if you're not tracking macros right now, let me get that out of the way. If you're not tracking macros, I recommend that you at least start doing something, start tracking something, because a lot of the times when we eyeball stuff, it's not going to be good. Like, I literally asked my audience on Instagram, I had 2 chocolate rice cakes, 2 tablespoons of peanut butter. I weighed it out down to the gram because next to the serving, like 2 tablespoons, it'll say it's like 28 grams. So I got my food scale, weighed that out. It's the most accurate. Same thing with dark chocolate chips. I weighed out a serving of that. I asked them how many calories they thought was in those 2 rice cakes with peanut butter and dark chocolate chips. 250 calories, 300 calories, or 400 calories. The answer was 400, and the overwhelming amount of like 10 plus people said 250. And like 2 people said 400, and a handful said 300. So that leads me to believe that if you can look at that and really underestimate, that's 150 calories you're underestimating. If you did that every day, think about how many extra calories you may be eating, and that's just one meal. Picture if you did that with a ton of different meals, right? So that's important. That's why I like tracking. Tracking isn't meant to be an obsessive thing. I always say tracking is a tool. You don't have to use it forever. It's meant to kind of like look at what you're eating. Even if you did it for like 3 days, just input what you did, no goals. Just track what you ate. And like one day you may be 2,000 calories. One day maybe you're 1,300 calories. One day you're maybe 1,800 calories. This is data. It gives us data to make informed decisions and go, oh, when I eat this, I'm way over on my fats for the day. Oh, when I eat this, this brings my calories up really high, so I should probably stay away from this. Right, Gingy? He agrees. Okay. So, so that's definitely an important part of why tracking is important. I don't want you to feel intimidated by tracking. And tracking is not for everyone for every phase of their journey, but there are other ways that we could track our food that doesn't necessarily involve physically like weighing it out, you know, typing it into a food logger. You can use things like the hand method, the hand portion method, even just eyeballing things and being like, well, I'm going to double up on my protein, but cut back on, like, if I normally eat mac and cheese, we're going to cut that serving in half. I'm going to double up on my protein. There's ways, or like add in veggies, add in fruits. So there's ways that we can kind of indirectly do it. Just know that that only gets you so far. The most precise and fastest way you're going to see results is through tracking. The more lenient you get with your tracking, the less drastic results you're going to see. But you know, mentally, if that's what you need right now, it's going to be better than nothing, right? Okay, so end rant on that. So one of the big things that me and Gingy see when it comes to macro tracking, just because I do this all the time with different clients, is it's not necessarily that you're going to be overeating with the calories, right? At least directly. It's usually the macronutrient ratios, okay? And when I talk about ratios, you may have seen like protein, carbs, fat, and when you see, like, if you go on a macro calculator website or something, it'll show you like, oh, you want 30% protein, 40% carbs, 25% fat, whatever it is, it's gonna total up to 100%. And you can kind of adjust those. It depends on your goals, it depends on your preferences, but the ratios do matter, okay, to some extent. when I track clients, a lot of the times they're actually under eating what they should be. I see a lot of 1,300 calorie, 1,400 calorie days, which is pretty low. I mean, unless you're a very small human being, but if you're like an average human, that's kind of on the low end. But what I see is the fat and the carbs are way out of proportion. We're usually overdoing carbs, overdoing fat, and super, super, super low on protein. So why is this an issue? One, we have body recomp, okay? Like you can see Gingy, he's pretty lean, right? Like he's looking good. It's because Gingy eats proportionate macros, okay? But that actually affects your body recomposition. So you'll see people like when they're in a fat loss phase, especially in like the more competitive fitness realm, they'll have a lot of protein, like higher protein. One, it keeps us fuller longer, but two, that's going to help us preserve muscle in a fat loss phase. So when we're losing fat, if we have that protein, it's going to help preserve the muscle. Depending on the person, if you have any underlying health issues, you may need to be a little bit lower carb and you might like the higher fats. Other people may actually prefer the little bit higher carbs with a little bit lower fat. You know, with the fats, and I've seen people with digestive issues where they need to have the lower fats, but I've also seen vice versa. Fat is still important. I probably wouldn't recommend going below like 40, 45 grams, depending on your calorie needs, just because it's important for hormonal health. When we go low on the fat, that's when we tend to see the issues of like, oh, I'm feeling really, really cold. Like my hands are cold. I get really tired. I have the brain fog. That's because our hormones are not usually acting as optimized as they could be. Okay, so actually the portions that we're eating will help determine your shape. Like if I gave you the calories with like optimal protein, carbs, and fat, and then I gave somebody else with the same exact body, we just copy and pasted you, if that was possible, with the same calories, but we altered your macronutrients, I bet you your body compositions would look different. So if you want that long and lean toned look, you're gonna want to look for the proportion macros. Bring up that protein a little bit, focus on fiber, limit the added sugars, carbs and fats, right? Okay, so that's kind of the first thing I see with the ratios. The second thing that happens that is a little bit more indirect as to why we may overeat, because nothing's ever black and white, right? It's usually like a chain reaction, is because we're overeating on the carbs, overeating on the fats, undereating on the protein. This causes us to kind of yo-yo diet. So protein's low because protein keeps us fuller longer. It slows down our digestion, especially if we're eating complete meals. When we eat a complete meal that has, lots of lean protein, healthy carbs, healthy fats, we build a nice meal. It's going to digest a lot better. That's why I tell people, if you want the cookies, have the freaking cookies, but, maybe pair it with a protein shake. Make it a little bit more complete because you're not going to be as hungry. Have you ever eaten like French fries or Pop-Tarts? I know my thing is Pop-Tarts. Like I used to love Pop-Tarts, but I hate that like when you eat them, you're literally hungry 20 freaking minutes later. It's because it's straight carbs and sugar and you burn it up so fast. So a lot of fast food, a lot of processed foods, a lot of the foods that taste good are straight carbs, straight fat, straight sugar. Why is that? They taste delicious, but they also get burned up really, really fast. They get stored as fat. They leave us hungry because we just burn it up like that, right? So, and it leaves us wanting more. So from a sales perspective, you're just going to keep wanting to eat it, keep going back. And that's all they care about. They don't care if you get fat. So that is why eating a little bit more balanced also helps. So think of eating a balanced meal, even if you do want to eat that less healthy alternative. Like if you're going for a snack or something, think, how can I make this a little bit more complete? I know in my PCOS journey, I've learned that as well. If I have a meal that I'm craving and it tends to be a little bit more carby or fatty, if I pair it with proteins or add fruit in there, add fiber, make it a little bit more complete, it's going to be better. You're gonna digest it better. You're not gonna get the cravings. You're not gonna want the late night snacking. You're not gonna, wake up tomorrow and be like, I'm starving, and then you're gonna overeat, and then the next day you're gonna be like, I'm not hungry, and then you're gonna overeat and undereat, and it's like this yo-yo thing. That's not gonna happen. Okay, so that is why proportions, I guess, is so important. So with that being said, that leads me up to today's FITMAS deal. So FITMAS day number 8, you are going to get a macronutrition consultation. So we're actually giving away 2 things today. One's a freebie and one's a really good deal. So first thing is a macronutrient cheat sheet. So with that, you're gonna get a list of proteins, carbs, fats, combo moves, so things that are carbs and fats, things that are protein and carbs, 0 kind of macro foods. You're gonna get a nice sheet that shows you what fits into each category so you can build your own meals and know how to properly proportion your days and structure your days and create a little bit healthier meals so hopefully you stay fuller longer. Hopefully we see better results to educate you. Okay, so that's the first thing. That's the freebie. The second thing is a nutrition audit, a macronutrition audit. So you're gonna fill out a little form for me. It's gonna be an in-depth form if you're interested in this, and it's gonna be a one-time fee. It's only $79, okay? So you're gonna fill this form out, and I'm gonna actually calculate your macros for you, okay? And we're gonna go a little bit more in depth though. I know FITMAS Day 1 is free macro calculations, right? But that's just numbers, right? And that's kind of like a shot in the dark. With the nutrition audit, we're gonna dive deeper because in this form, it's gonna ask you some lifestyle questions, and I really want you to get deep. I want you to get detailed. The more information you provide me, the better results you're gonna get, the better feedback you're gonna get. And I'm gonna create a plan, give you some sample meal ideas, a sample meal plan to show you what it would look like to hit your macros for that day. I'll even give you the 6 weeks of app access so you can use my food tracker, the meal plan generator within the app, so you get the best results and I can kind of monitor your work and everything like that. So you'll get that. It's like a one-time thing. And then at the end of the 6 weeks, I'll kind of check back in, see how everything's going. You actually get 1 free adjustment as well. So it's a really good way to kind of get it jump started. If you have no idea where to start and you're just like, what the heck do I do? Even if you don't want to track macros, I'll still have that guidance for you. I'm going to give you tips based off the feedback you give me, whether you're a busy nurse, you're a shift worker, you have specific eating needs and you don't know really how to eat healthy, like depending on your needs, you're a snacker, whatever it may be. Or you hate cooking, you hate vegetables, I'm gonna give you specific feedback to you and your needs. I'm gonna write up a whole detailed thing. I'm gonna give you a Loom video walkthrough. It's gonna be all the tools you need basically to get a jump start on your nutrition goals. And it's gonna help you succeed and kind of get the ball rolling, and so you can just start running with it and hopefully keep going and get great results, okay? So those are the 2 things, freebie and a good deal. Hope you have a good rest of your day. I will see you for FITMAS Day 9. Bye.